So about the shortage of first, we have already gone through and we have seen some of the examples related to it. So let's talk about its advantages and its disadvantages, what we have understood from that. Okay. Now, if we'll talk about shortage of first is the criteria of the shortage of first is the burst time. So the process which has the least burst time will get the chance to allocate the CPU for the execution, and we just hold the longer process for the later time, and it comes under the category of non-preemptive scheduling. What is a non-preemptive scheduling? Whenever we are allocating the CPU to any of the process, so that process will execute its all burst time, and it will go to the terminate state without going to the ready state again. So that type of scheduling is called non-preemptive scheduling. So shortest first come first serve scheduling is also a non-preemptive scheduling. Now, if the burst time of two process at the same time, if we have, and it is same, so how we'll make the decision? We'll make the decision based on its arrival time. So arrival time is the tiebreaker for making the decision that which particular process will be allocating the CPU in shortage of first algorithm. Now, the advantages that we have seen in shortage of first algorithm is the first advantage is it is having the maximum throughput. So the shortage of first has the maximum throughput, whatever scheduling algorithm we have seen. What is the meaning of throughput is that duration of time, how much process has been executed. So if we'll see the Gantt chart of any process, and we find out that there are some processes which are executing here, and we find out that they are taking some time to execute. So let's say in shortage of first scheduling algorithm, when we analyze the Gantt chart, we'll find out that number of processes that is executed divided by how much time it has taken, that is called throughput. So that throughput is actually more in shortage of first category of scheduling algorithm. Second is, the second advantage of shortage of first is it has the minimum waiting time and turnaround time. So this shortage of first algorithm is having the minimum waiting time and minimum turnaround time than your first come first serve and other scheduling algorithm that we'll see in later classes. So these two are the advantages of shortage of first. Maximum throughput means at a duration of time how much process has been executed, and it has the minimum waiting time as well as turnaround time. Now the next thing we'll see about the disadvantages. Of shortage of first. Now what are the disadvantages that we have find it out means in the course of this algorithm, what we have understood or what we have observed, we observed that the problem is there with the shortage of first. The first problem is starvation problem. Now, what is the meaning of starvation? Starvation comes due to the convoy effect. What is a convoy effect? The convoy effect is that a longer process, burst time process is, if it is executing first, then the shorter process, the waiting time of the shorter process will be more. So the shorter process, which may came after the longer process, will be starved and is waiting for a longer period of time to get the CPU. That is the first problem that we have observed due to the convoy effect. And the convoy effect is also there in the first come first serve. So we thought that if we'll take the shorter process first, then this problem might go on. But in some of the scheduling, we find out that that problem still exists for shortage of first. What is the second problem that we have find it out? We find it out that it is not an implementable model. Or implementable, okay, model. Why it is not an implementable model? We cannot implement it actually in real world, because the burst time of any process cannot be available prior to the execution. Now, this is the main thing, means the burst time that based on that whole algorithm is, it is based on the burst time, but in the actual world, we cannot find it out, or we cannot find out the exact burst time of any process. What is the meaning of that? The meaning is that prior to the execution of any process, we cannot know what will be the burst time of that particular process. Means how much time it will take into the CPU for whole execution of its instruction. So that is the problem with shortage of first algorithm. Now let's talk about the first disadvantage, which is called starvation. This particular problem can be solved with some more different type of algorithm, and that algorithm is called shortest remaining time first algorithm. This is another variation in shortest of first algorithm, which is called shortest remaining time first algorithm. By using this algorithm, we can able to solve this particular problem in some extent, not fully. Now the next thing is how we can find it out the burst time. That is a main problem or main disadvantage of shortage of first algorithm.